Hello?
Hey, it's Billy.
Billy!
How you doing? What's going on?
I got something important here, all right? I'm getting married.
What?
Wow.
To that young lady who's half your age?
Hey, wait a minute. She's almost 32.
I have a hemorrhoid that's almost 32.
So we're gonna have a bachelor party in Vegas.
I can't smoke, drink, eat salt, or stay out past 9, but...
All right, I love it.
All right, Las Vegas. And for some of these actors, might be last movie.
Probably for Michael Douglas, but I think
Morgan
the other
Freeman
guy.
looking kind of up there, man.
Well, look, Morgan Freeman, every time I think that guy, it's time for him to go, he still sticks around for another 10 years. I don't know what it is, but it just happens that way.
I don't know what he's hanging around for. He's going to die and then become God. So.
That is true. Must be God if he ain't dead yet.
True.
No, these are some cool actors, man. And say what you will about the movie, but it's fun seeing these actors together. This movie is about four guys. Let's just say what they are. They're old dudes. These guys they've been friends since they were in the 5th grade, and they've been friends for 58 years, or 56 or 58. It don't really matter at a certain point. What am I going to split the difference for 2 years?
years later.
What's that?
58 years later.
They've been, so
They're fucking old.
Yeah, that just lets you know these guys are right in their 70s. And you got the different types. You have Michael Douglas as Billy. He's still he's a guy that still got some style, kind of still good looking, and still got enough game to pick up a girl that's more than half his age.
Obviously, the guy didn't learn shit from Solitary Man.
Exactly.
Less than half his age.
That's what I'm sorry. They're less than half his age. And then you have Rob De Niro, who's the guy that's sulking because his wife just died. He's I don't want to deal with anybody. My wife is dead, and I don't fucking.
Man, what a pussy.
Yeah, exactly, man. Go get the fuck out there. I mean, that's opportunity right there.
Everybody is like, man, your wife died a year ago. You need to come on out of there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was like, hey, man, you old. You're not going to exactly have another chance to fuck again if you don't start now. So let's get going.
You guys are shitty friends.
Exactly. You got Morgan Freeman as the black dude. Then you got Kevin Kline as...
Is that the extent of his definition?
Kind of.
Yeah.
He really, well, if you want to go deeper with it, he's the guy who probably has the most health problems, so he's staying with his son, and his son is watching over him, treating him like a kid the whole time. Dad, you take your pills. Dad, did you pee you yet, Dad?
You know you have episode, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Way too overprotective.
Yeah, so, and then you have Kevin Kline, who is the guy that doesn't look like he really belongs because he doesn't seem as old as they are.
The youngest of that crowd?
I would think so. That's what I was saying. Like, isn't Morgan Freeman significantly older than Kevin Kline? And I mean, I guess he lets his hair go white. But there's even a scene early on in the movie where he's in a swimming pool with all these old people. And he's actually in really good shape.
Yeah, his body's good.
If you want to make him look old, this is not the scene to show.
Well, Kevin Kline's neck doesn't look like it needs to be ironed like the other guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a turkey like everybody else. And by the way, when you say turkey neck, these people have turkey body. Everything is flabby on them.
Gravity is not working.
Hell, gravity is yanking at that shit. It ain't pulling. That's
killing them.
But see, Michael Douglas knows how to just wear a sharkskin suit all the time, so you don't notice that.
Michael Douglas looks like he has sharks.
Yeah, I think he is a shark at this point.
And Michael Douglas, since he's got this young chick, he's like, well, I better nail this down and marry her. So he says, hey, guys, I'm about to marry this child right here, and let's all go to Las Vegas for a bachelor party. I think it's Kevin Kline who said, hey, you've been throwing bachelor parties for all of us.
And speaking of which, Kevin Kline's situation is that he's living in Florida with his wife, and he's just tired of being around old people everywhere to the point to where he just feels like, wow, I'm just going to die here with all these old people. So this comes up. He's getting married. He's like, well, shit, man, we got to throw you a bachelor party in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. You threw us all bachelor parties. We're going to throw you the best one ever.
Yeah.
As soon as we can get away from our wives and children and
our ball and chains
and old people.
Get this asshole out of his apartment.
Get away from Gray.
And gravity.
Yeah, gravity. Run.
But it's so, I mean, come on. The kind of movie that this is directed by John Turteltaub. This is the guy that gave us
Sanford and Son.
Did he give it?
He used to direct episodes of Sanford and Son all the time.
The guys, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's used to directing old guys.
Yeah, he's as old as the characters in this film, is what you're saying.
I think that you might have the wrong person because this guy, he's not even as old as this cast. He's 50.
Oh,
okay.
Well, maybe
unless he was directing Sanford and Son, he was like 3.
He's in diapers.
Yeah,
it could happen.
Get on over there.
Yeah, I don't think Fred Sanford needed that much direction.
Everybody really good lines.
Yeah.
I'm tired of dealing with everybody. I'm professional.
You big dummy.
But No, but no, this guy, he's directed movies like Three Ninjas and you know, and the National Treasure movies. And, he also did Cool Runnings and
Three Ninjas I like.
yeah, and he did The Sorcerer's Apprentice. So you know you're gonna get into some lighthearted territory here. With lighthearted territory like this, you're gonna get. I mean, you're going to get moments where these guys are the coolest guys in the world and forget fish out of water. They're going to act like they're people from another planet.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have a lot of old people jokes, and they're hanging out with the young people, doing stuff you don't expect old people to do.
It's a Hallmark old people movie.
So I'm assuming you guys are not going to want to visit our nightclub.
Nightclub? Dancing?
Yes, Mr. Clayton, I believe some people will be dancing at the nightclub.
Right. Okay.
Usually gets jumping around 11 o'clock. If you'd like, I can pick you up or wake you up.
Yeah.
We'll be
What are you
there.
talking about?
That's when we come alive. Like midnight at the disco. We'll
We're
see you there.
always up and about after midnight on the weekends. A little after, maybe.
I'll leave you gentlemen to your fun.
Take it.
I got to say, though, like, to me, with that kind of thing, Cocoon set the bar where it's like, okay, if they do one of these movies, I'm okay with it as long as you don't have an old guy break dance. As long as there's not a scene like
that's
that.
right. That's right. They had, what's his name? Mortimer or whatever from
Trading
Trading Places there when he was breakdancing. Oh, God damn. I mean, no, they didn't go that far with it. There's some moments where you're slightly embarrassed about what's happening here because it's just these situations they put in, they're so predictable. But
the sitcom situation.
Yeah, exactly. But, man, these guys together, they're fun to watch. I fell for it. You know, I like watching them all actually be grumpy and trying to, especially Rob De Niro, when they just trying to get him like, fuck, man, your wife is dead, all right? Come and hang out. And he's just,
I just have this feeling like why does it seem like recently, especially with all these actors we've kind of grown up with and seen now, like they're all in their 70s, just like Sly and fucking Schwarzenegger. It's like, yeah, it's always fun to see those guys just hang out and shoot the shit. Except now they got a plot they got to deal with, and they got a camera in front of them. I'm like, look, just fucking make a reality show with all these guys hanging out, and I will watch the shit out of that. I don't know if necessarily I need to watch a movie to remind me that at some point these guys are going to fucking die. You know, because that's what it seems like. A movie like this, and just like the last Stallone Schwarzenegger movie, and the Pacino, and what was it? The movie he came out with. No. The movie.
The stand-up guys.
Stand-up guys. Yeah, stand-up guys. Where these movies are just like, oh man, these movies are depressing the fuck out of me.
Well, yeah, because they're saying like, hey, remember all those old guys? I mean, those guys from your childhood you used to love.
Remember why you liked them?
What if we got them back together? Oh, I'd love to see that. Well, here they are, and they're old. And you know why? Because you're old.
Here's a bunch of old jokes for you.
These guys, as elderly as they are, can't lead a movie anymore. But you can put a bunch of them that used to be able to in one movie, and then you got a film people will go see.
It's the Expendables effect, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're right.
The nursing home effect.
One of them might not be able to lead a movie, but you get them all together. There's strength in numbers, and you get a joke. And sometimes, you know,
if they all had like points, like on trading cards or something like that, like a card game, like, oh man, do you remember when Rob De Niro card is worth 20 points? It's worth 3 now. But you put him together with all these others, and you got yourself a devastating hand. And you're
But you see, the difference is with something like what you said with Escape Plan that just recently came out, or even the Expendables. Those movies are these guys really trying to still recreate what they were.
Right.
This movie acknowledges that they're old. Okay, you know, they're doing a comedy that might be pretty trite for most people, but it's still acknowledging that, all right, we know that we're old. We're not going to try to do anything. And we try to do something that's beyond this. That's where the joke is going to really play.
Well, you've told me this is like, see, I didn't see this, and you've told me the premise. But that's just the premise. So I'm curious, like bunch of old guys this time, all go to Vegas for a bachelor party. So is this more of the comb over than the hangover, basically?
Oh my God.
I mean, is it sad?
Damn, boy.
Is it sad? Is it about how pathetic they are?
Yes, it's about as sad as what you just threw at us.
You know what?
Work for that shit.
Yeah, no,
Now,
you got-
what I would like to know is,
Now, to be fair, my pun served a purpose. I'm genuinely curious. Is it one of those things
making us wanna
about
vomit.
Is it one of those things where it's about like, you know, it ends up being kind of like, look how sad it is. These guys aren't who they used to be.
Actually, no, it's almost more the
It's a good
opposite.
question, by the way.
It's more like they're sad when it starts, and by the later they're like, you know what? Maybe we're not kids anymore, but we still got some life in us, and it becomes more about their friendship, about some shit that happened when they were young that didn't die. It comes back up again.
Yeah.
Because you know how these problems are when you don't deal with them.
Well, that stuff in the movie I found okay, but I just wish they would have put a little bit more effort, because obviously that was more of a subplot than the main plot of them just being old, you know, where I'm like, you know, yeah, they are kind of juggling a lot of things with De Niro and his wife, and the revelation that, you know, he finds out what, you know, between his wife and you know, the Michael Douglas, and, you know, I was like, wow, these are things that they could have really explored, and not be so heavy-handed with all the time. Just to give me something that I could really just, you know, bite into.
Oh, you're right, man. There's
Normally, you might see that in a drama where they'd save that up and that would become a big deal. I mean, and here, they just got so many things going on.
Because there's stuff that there's a lot of things that they could have worked with, but they just fill the movie with just empty jokes, very obvious empty jokes. They go to a pool party where they judge girls, and it's only meant to like show you a bunch of girls with bikinis on are bringing this latest pop star. They got one of the guys from LMFAO to come in and host this bikini party. And that's for the young group, for the kids who got dragged there with their parents. Like, oh, it's that dude that I know who made that song, and that's all it's there for. It doesn't lend itself to the story that much. There's a lot of moments like that in the movie. And there's a lot of Hallmark moments in the movie. Just the subplot of why are these guys not friends? Oh, it's going to come out in some really heavy-handed point. But when it does hit that mark, man, it brings up an uncomfortable position for one of them, and it kind of worked too. It's like, damn, that's fucked up, man.
but it sucks because you realize, like, oh, it's almost the end of the movie. Unless they're gonna drag this out for another hour.
Time for Corey to go get some nachos.
No. Corey had something else going on this night.
You know what? I'll say this. I'll get to the rating in a little bit. I had my moment in the movie, man.
Yeah, I heard about this. I'm so sad I wasn't there for this.
I tell you what, man.
I'm so happy that I was there for it.
No matter how much this movie was, I laughed my ass off for what happened with Corey.
Which I kind of wish it would have happened to you too. Because, just hearing you two guys, like, really, great. But tell the story.
I feel so ashamed of myself.
As you should.
What happened. So, while we're watching this movie, now just forget about the movie for a moment. Let's, as co-host said, let's do story time right here. We always have stories at the movies when we go to them, and we're sitting there watching the film, and early on, sounds like a group of teenagers, like teenage girls, are just way too into it. Every time a joke was made, everybody would laugh, the chuckle would stop, and this you hear this one particular girl. And everybody's like, what the fuck is going on there? This continues through the whole movie till there's a point where something's happening in the film and she can't stop saying, oh, that's so gross. That's so gross. It's gross.
It was a moment in the film where two old people were kissing.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even matter. It's just something happening. She's like, oh, that's so gross. That's gross. And people started getting sick of it. And people, at first they were laughing, and finally a bunch of people at the same time were just like, be quiet, shut up. And I was the main one, shut up. And they just kept going after that. They just did not stop. So, you know, I feel like I got to speak for the people now. I will take care of this.
Which is weird because you don't usually do that anymore.
Yeah, you used to do that all the time. It used to be if somebody was talking, you'd be like, hey, you need to shut up. It was when we were in Jackass, you were like, what's going on back there? I was like, oh, these two guys were fighting because one guy told the other guy to shut up. And you turn around, you didn't know nothing about it. You just were like, both of y'all need to shut up.
I know.
And then I was telling somebody that story, and you're like, no, man, I don't do that no more. I'm all live and let live. And you people talking in the movie, if they into it, I don't care. I just let it slide.
I have been like that these days.
Yeah.
I meditate. I hit my moments of zen. I'm peaceful. But this girl broke me, man. It was at that moment.
I was like, wow, she broke him.
It's just something inside of me just that I can't take this shit no more.
Now, I would say, like, you started to get up, and then you didn't. You sat back down like, nope, I'm going to dig deep. I'm going to push it away. And then it was like a half second later, you're like, no. You shaking your head like, no, nope, this cannot stand. You got up.
I tell you what happened was I was being cool. I was just saying, you know, I'm going to let it. Man, I went longer than what I usually do. You know that.
Yeah.
And I was sitting up there. I was shaking. I was trembling the whole time. I was like, you know, I'm going to be cool, man. I ain't going to say nothing. But then when the crowd just collectively just told her to be quiet, and she kept going. I felt like
gross. Oh, it's so gross.
and I said, you know what? At that point, this is just goddamn disrespect.
You are the hero this theater
And I will
needs.
get up and I will speak for the people. And I got up and I marched over there. If you would have seen my silhouette, I was hulking.
Yeah,
And you know what? And
that's
here's the
made me
thing.
laugh. You got all bowed up in that stance.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing from my perspective, sitting down watching you two guys like getting completely irate over somebody who I've already figured out.
Well, hold on.
But hold on. The moment I'm just like, wow, these two, maybe they should calm down just a little bit. And I was talking about Leon and Corey, but then as soon as I noticed, I'm like, oh, look at Corey right there. He's getting ready to get up.
Yeah. If you would have saw my silhouette, you would have thought a gorilla was walking over there. You know, I was all hunched over and shit.
But for a second, I was like, maybe I should do something. And I was like, you know
too
what?
late.
No,
Let's
I'm not.
just watch this play.
I was like, no, I'm not. Here comes the bucket of truth.
And I just wait. I looked around and I waited. But I just stopped for a second. I heard that. It's gross. And I was like, it's coming from there.
Yeah.
And I walked over to where that girl was. I stood over her and I looked down.
Boom, boom.
And when I saw her, I looked at her face and I said, oh, Jesus Christ. She was mentally ill. She was
retarded.
mentally challenged.
She was fucking retarded.
You were going to say something. What, are you going to yell in the theater? No, Corey, she's retarded.
She's fucking retarded, Corey.
And I told Leon, it was like that moment when Mel Gibson was fighting Master Blaster and he finally defeated them and said, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. And the helmet came off of the big guy that Master Blaster was riding. And he saw that it was a guy with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And he just said, oh, I can't do this.
He has the mind of a child. And the whole time, and the funny thing is that when I noticed these guys going off, I kept thinking, okay, these guys do know that this girl is obviously retarded, because at the beginning of her sentence to the end of her sentence, you kept hearing, that's gross. And I was like, okay, she's obviously retarded. And even when she was talking, she's like, you hear,
Nah, it wasn't that bad. See, you didn't hear that. He's exaggerating.
I like movies. And I was looking at you guys. I was like, and Leon over here, he's like, someone should tell her to shut up. This is not right. I'm like, okay.
And see, you're right, because now you the asshole that didn't say anything. Meanwhile, he's sitting up here talking about, man, I don't know, you were good for a while. I don't know how you just broke out. You should have said nothing. But the whole time he was like, what's going on over there?
He was practically egging you on.
Egging me on. Like,
that's what was going
what
on.
is happening?
Is somebody going to do something about that?
That's the look he gave me. He looked at me like, well,
I know what
you would have let this stand.
I know what you're talking about, because it's never been Leon to do this in the movie theater. But sometimes when we have bad people behind us, he'd be looking at me when they do something bad. He's like, well, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to do something.
I'm not going to do nothing, but I think I know who will.
And I looked at her and I just dropped my head. When you saw that gorilla going by the first time, you just saw this skinny slunk guy just walking down.
That's exactly what I saw. From my perspective, I didn't know. All I saw was you march down there like you were going to do something, stop, and then turn around and slowly come back. Now, she came in, like her entourage looked like the cast of Duck Dynasty. So I thought maybe one of them guys scared you.
I didn't see her.
One of them big hillbillies made you think twice.
Oh, no.
But then you came with your head down.
I know. Well, I loved it because I was like, that was the bucket of truth that just splashed all over Corey.
My silhouette looked like a rubber man just walking by. I was just deflated. Just my arms were swinging real flimsy. And I sat. The thing is, I sat down. And see, I'm not like you. I was trying not to use that word retarded. So Leon asked me. He said, "What happened?" And I said, "She's ill."
She's ill.
And he said, "What?" I said, "She's ill." He said, "What?" I was like, "She's mentally ill." All right.
Of course she's ill. That's why I told you to go over there and beat her up.
And for a moment, I was going to be like you. I was on the verge of saying she's retarded, but I didn't want to say that,
You should have, because I was like, man, I hope to God they don't go, well, look, it's a black guy coming to us telling us to be quiet. What the hell? Well, the retarded girls go,
The irony.
And the thing is, the mom had her. She was cradling her the whole time.
Oh, God.
Not because of me. She already kind of was holding her, and you could tell she was trying to get her to be quiet. She was rubbing her stomach, trying to soothe her. And she, when I went over there, she didn't say a word to me. She just looked up at me and said, you know this is wrong.
Are you sure her mother wasn't protecting her from you, from the ass beating you were about to go give her?
She was holding her before, man. She was rocking her, trying to.
Yeah.
And you could tell she was feeling bad about.
Of course, the whole theater was being an asshole. Because I remember when you got up, the girl who was running the show, she was following you right. She was like right behind you.
Right
so I was like,
behind you.
this is gonna be like Airplane, when the line's gonna form, and they're like beating her up with wrenches and boxing gloves. Yeah, I know, slapping the shit out of this retarded
And
kid.
you should have, when the credits roll, I just ran out.
I know. I saw you run. I saw you run like crazy.
take off that fast.
Like when the lights kind of came, I was like, "Don't look at me."
I laughed
You
even
were like a cockroach at midnight.
I laughed even harder that you brought a guest and you still managed to hop out of that seat and run the fuck out of there when your guest is hanging out.
I know.
Hey,
Fuck this.
where you going?
I had to do that walk of shame, man.
I'll come pick you up later.
People coming up to your guest. You with that guy who was trying to beat up that retarded girl? What? No.
Oh God, I know. I was waiting for that.
That's how people looking at me. People looking at me like, you look like the shadow of that guy that was going over there to yell at that girl. Meanwhile, you know half those people, the ones that would say, "Shut up!"
Yeah, I know.
And they just went in trying to act like they're better than me.
I
How
know.
dare you? You should feel a real shame of yourself.
Crowds will turn on you in a second,
They
man.
turned on me bad, man. And I didn't say a word. I just said,
That's hilarious.
I feel bad. Anyway, the movie's all right. I give it a rental.
I'm right there with you. I mean, this movie would have been a piece of shit if it hadn't been for the cast who managed to just keep pulling it out ever so often. Matter of fact, I thought Kevin Kline was really good. He's one of those actors who I love him in everything. I was like, man, you don't see that guy.
He has
enough.
one of the best lines in the movie too. There's a
he
moment.
does.
Talk about breaking somebody.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I sat down from that incident right when he gave that line. And yeah, you cracked up, man. I was laughing too.
Yeah, he knew just how to deliver it.
Yeah.
Catch you off guard. But yeah, it's a rental.
Same here. It's a rental. But Corey's experience was full price.
People, patience. Have patience.
I'm getting married. She's your age.
You must be rich.
Yeah, but you should be talking to me. Come on.
Hey, buddy, maybe you had too much to drink, huh?
If I want your opinion, I'll just beat it out of you. Sure.
No one calls us names except for us.
It's gonna be poppin'.
I owe you this one.
Whoa! Wow!
We got a couple of unresolved issues.
Oh, I haven't been this hungover in 30 years. Everything's spinning. Oh, no.